Good morning, everyone. My name is John Lanier. I am the president of North American Technician Excellence. I've been with the organization for just a bit over 12 years now. But more importantly, I am joined this morning by Dave Kyle, the CEO of Trademasters, headquartered in Lorton, Virginia, who has graciously agreed to grant me some of his time to help us better understand Dave and Dave's business and his relationship with Nate. So with that, Dave, why don't you tell us, how'd you get started in HVAC?
What a fun question. So, hey, was just fortunate enough to take a class in high school, and I've never looked back. So that was a little plus of 40 years ago. So started when I was about 16, and just was lucky enough to put my hands on equipment and a skilled trade, and man, it changed everything. It was just happy from day one. So one of the few people to start very early.
That's great. So you've been doing this, you said, for 4 decades. How have things changed since you started your career in
HVAC? Certainly the equipment has changed. Everything's become substantially more technical. In those 40 years, I was able to see the sort of the income of digital, very early, the digital age, the computers, and of course the connected and the web and all those other things. That was actually really exciting. The focus on energy efficiency in those 40 years became very, very strong, the focus on improvement and greatly improving the efficiency of the equipment. And this is true for, residential equipment, commercial, and refrigeration. Trademasters provides a wide range of residential and commercial and industrial equipment and services. So we've seen vast changes in that. But, John, the core principles are still kind of the same. You want to do a great job for your clients, your coworkers, your clients. The basic mechanics are sort of the same, just with a lot of digital added to them, and different kinds of drives and means and methods. And then certainly everything being connected is another big change. But again, back to the core principles, that stuff is still basically the same.
That's great. Thank you, Dave. So you've had a very successful career. Your organization covers pretty much the entire gamut of the HVAC space. What inspired you to join the Nate board?
Well, certainly was an early adopter to Nate, because we saw early on the advantage of recognizing our highly skilled technicians and really wanted to bring the win-win-win to light. And John, you've heard me talk about this stuff before, is that how important it is to demonstrate that the client is in a great position, that they're getting a highly skilled professional, that our coworkers on our team, our technicians, feel and understand that they're highly skilled professionals. And then there's certainly that the equipment is being properly sized, installed, and serviced. So those all 3 things come together. And then being able to be recognized on a national basis early on was a real driver for us. So appreciate that question.
Great. So a lot of stuff going on in the industry today with the refrigerant transition, as you said, the ever-changing technology of equipment. From your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges that are facing HVAC contractors today? And is there anything that Nate can do to help them address those challenges?
Yes. So first, I'm going to start out with what Nate is doing. So just by the fact that Nate is here and offering a nationally recognized, quite frankly, a gold standard for credentialing, helps attract people to our industry. So that's one of our number one challenges, attracting highly skilled people to our industry. So having, a certification, a gold standard credential so that you can earn that does help attract talented people to our industry. I think one of the other challenges, of course, is keeping up with the changes. And then Nate's been able to provide resources for people to keep up with some of the changing technologies in training and information and safety, quite frankly.
Got it. Yeah. So, one of the questions that I get asked a lot, and I'd love to get your take on this, why is technician certification important for HVAC?
Well, certainly, I think it brings a lot to the table, John. It does demonstrate that let me sort of pull it back a little bit. First, the people that are willing to go down the path of national certification tend to be the people that really care. They care about themselves because they want to be recognized as, as being in a profession and not a job. And I've learned that if you surround your people that care about themselves, they tend to care about your company and your client. So I think that's sort of a little esoteric, but that's a really important way to understand it. It also demonstrates to the employer and then, of course, the clients, and then, quite frankly, all the other parties, the manufacturers and distributors, that you have people that are fully engaged and invested in this as an industry and as a profession, and not just a job. So we're the end implementers. So as the equipment and the technology gets to us, it's our responsibility to provide that final step to get it perfect when it lands in its final operational site. So having people that have that certification and go down that path and willing to develop that skill set and invest in themselves, it's a real win-win-win, John. It brings real balance to the industry and all parties.
Yeah, Dave, that really makes a lot of sense. I was at a conference last week, and one of the stats that I heard, which surprised me, frankly, even with the most perfectly manufactured piece of equipment that is designed to operate at a very high efficiency level, when that equipment is installed incorrectly, you can lose up to 40% of that efficiency that the homeowner or the business owner has paid for. They paid for that high-end piece of equipment with all the efficiency, but if it's not installed right, you can lose 40% of that advantage, which is significant to me. So I'm just wondering, what impact have you seen that NATE certification has made, either in your organization or in the industry as a whole? How has it moved the needle, if you will?
So certainly that what you just described, of that up to 40% reduction in potential operating efficiency, and of course that cascades into comfort and other environmental things. The energy impact of what the highly trained people do. I mean, just imagine if we got every system working as factory fresh as it was designed to be, what kind of energy impact that would have on certainly on our clients' utility bills, but even on a bigger scale, on the more, on a global scale, environmentally and everything else. And then certainly, properly run equipment's going to last longer, provide better service long-term for the end user. I hope I was on the right path with that answer, John.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it reminds me again, when you look at the entire continuum of the industry, if you will, starting with manufacturers, getting all the way down to that technician that's out there servicing the equipment. The truth is, I know AHRI, for example, spends a lot of time and resource testing that equipment to ensure that it is operating as the manufacturers claim that it will. Wholesale distributors play an important role, in the business model to ensure that the equipment and the supplies are where they're supposed to be when they are. But at the end of the day, it's all about the contractor and the technician getting that stuff installed right, so that, again, the environment's protected, consumers get what they paid for. As you said, it's a win-win-win. So, I mean, it does take the entire industry really to get it done. So why should contractors integrate training and certification into their technician schedule?
Well, just for, I think, the reasons you just mentioned, John, and some of the stuff we touched on earlier. It's such a fast-paced environment. If you don't keep up with it, you could be left behind. And it really, and I think additionally to that, it does demonstrate as an employer, it demonstrates to the people, the implementers in the field, that you legitimately believe and care about their opportunity and personal and professional growth. And it cascades down to being as effective as possible, when you're in front of the client. So it's not just when we, install or design a piece of equipment. It's also, some of the keys are the certainly the maintenance and care, and then maybe even upgrades, in the future of that systems or equipment, especially in the commercial environment. Things are, always changing and developing, and they're reconfiguring spaces and stuff. So keeping up with this stuff really does bring, well, I use that word balance again, brings balance to that environment. So the technician sees the benefits and the growth, certainly the client does, and then it's a win for the company because of those other things, is that they see, your clients see that you're providing highly skilled professionals who care, and then hopefully they notice the outcome and the comfort and efficiency of their systems.
Right. Makes sense. So one last question for you. You've been running a successful organization for a long time. You're the current chair of NATE's board. What advice would you give to contractors who have not yet sort of embraced the importance of training and certification for their technicians?
I say, let's go. I mean, this is really, really important stuff. And quite frankly, it is easy. It's a really easy transition to join the NATE system, to get people NATE tested. There's just a wide variety of ways, paper testing, online proctoring, there is so many easy ways. NATE, quite frankly, has made it very user-friendly to get the technicians on this path. And quite frankly, cost is very minimal for the benefit that this brings all parties involved. So I say, hey, just do it. It's not even pulling off the Band-Aid. It really does improve your environment. And quite frankly, I've seen some of the data, John. The companies that have the majority of their technicians NATE certified, there is solid data that demonstrates that the companies are more effective, the clients are happier, and quite frankly, it's more profitable and beneficial to the employer as well. So it's, again, back to that triple win.
All very good reasons. And you mentioned a couple of things that I just wanted to add on to. Since I joined the organization, it has been our goal to never forget the hard work that technicians are doing out there, whether it be in a nasty, damp, snake-filled crawl space or up in an attic that's 130 degrees. So our team has done all that we can to make the organization as convenient, as accessible, and importantly, as relevant as we can to the industry as a whole and to contractors and technicians in particular. So thanks for bringing that up. Dave, we really appreciate the time you've taken today. This was a great chat. Hope that the audience learned some things from it. And I guess that's all we have. Daisy, what else do we need to do?
I was saying that was fantastic. That's, I think, all we need. So I'll edit this, and then we should have it online later this week.
Great.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Dave, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time.
No, love this stuff. Always love to help. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks
All
for
right. We'll
fighting
talk
the
to you
good
all
fight.
later.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.